I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings in the movies, and I'm not proud of my affairs. In a torn up town, no postcodes envy, but every song's like cold feet, play goes dripping in the bathroom, bloodstained barcode, trash in the hotel room. We don't care. We're driving Cadillacs in our dreams, but everybody's like Bristol, Maybach, diamonds on the timepiece, jet plane islands, cycles on the gold leaf. We don't care. We are caught up in a love affair, and we'll never be royal. You know what in our blood, the kind of love you take for us. We crave a different kind of bond. Let me be your ruler. You can call me Queen Bee. Let me rule. Let me live that fantasy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My friends and now we've cracked the code. We count our dollars on the train to the party, and everyone who knows us knows that we're fine with this. We don't come for money, but every song's like cold feet, play goes dripping in the bathroom, bloodstained barcode, trash in the hotel room. We don't care. We're driving Cadillacs in our dreams, but everybody's like Bristol, Maybach, diamonds on the timepiece, jet plane islands, cycles on the gold leaf. We don't care. We are caught up in a love affair, and we'll never be royal. You know what in our blood, the kind of love you take for us. We crave a different kind of bond. Let me be your ruler. You can call me Queen Bee. Let me rule. Let me live that fantasy.
Send in your emails to showx@vtwproductions.com. You're listening to Showx.
How is that for chill background music? You're listening to Showx live on VTW Productions and Twitch and YouTube.com. My name is Ken. Thank you very much for joining me today. As you can see, I'm hosting, which is why everything's a freaking mess. So please do tell me what my levels are like, if everything's okay, if you can hear me okay, etc. Hello, Hando, thank you for joining. It's nice to have a listener. I do mean a. I think it's Christmas season, people are busy with their families and such, and that's fine. Just you and I can hang out if that's the way it is. That's totally cool. Okay, so today, Wayne was actually going to host and going to be here today, but he said there's a chance that he wouldn't due to, you know, being back home with his family and such. And so I waited a few minutes into the show and I realized, oh, I better host. So I jumped on and realized that I had the entirely set up to stream games on my own personal Twitch channel, not to the show. So that's why I'm a little late. I had to try and like throw that all together, and that was my bad. Now you'll notice that my voice probably sounds a little weird this week, overly deep. I'm not just putting this on. I'm actually a little bit ill. So Ken Features had the flu this past week, and it totally knocked her out. It KO'd her. She was in bed most days, skipped a few days of work and such, and I spent most of that time looking after her, bringing her soup and making her homemade soup and stuff and being nice. And then of course I caught it. So I've got her flu right now. But what was a flu for her is more of a mild inconvenient cough for me. So I'm okay. I was a little bit debilitated for a couple of days, but I'm doing all right. It just leaves me with this fantastic low timbre voice, and I quite like it. I wish I could always be like this. In fact, it was even worse a couple of days ago. I could really do a proper Barry White voice. You know, which would be sexy if I wasn't also like coughing constantly and leaving snot trails down my moustache. I think otherwise it would have been sexy. Thank you for joining me today. This is going to be a fun episode of Show X because I've not got it set up for dual hosting. So it's just going to be me today, even if Wayne shows up, unless he wants to take over, which is very much welcome. So as such, there's no specific format. We're going to hang out for a couple hours and see what happens. I have alcohol, I've eaten, I'm in quite a good mood. This is our last show before Christmas, which is not really surprising, because Christmas is only 2 days away, so nobody should be surprised by this information. Meaning our next show will be on the 30th of December, and that's one day before Hogmanay, which is one day before we leave for Vegas. So it's going to be we'll be here next week, that's no problem, we'll still be here. The show will go on, as it always does. And it's going to be very exciting. I love that Twitch is telling me that I'm live. Like, hey, by the way, you're live. I'm going to make your phone go off because that's useful right now. I'll do that for you. So, because it is the Christmas season and such, I was hoping to hear what you guys have been up to in terms of Steam sales, in terms of Battle.net sales, in terms of whatever else. The Humble Bundle the Humble Bundle, like the Google and the Facebook. Humble Bundle have a special deal on right now, where if you go along and you sign up to their newsletter, I think, you get a free copy of, I can't remember what game it is. It's something that was mildly interesting to me. Let me find it. Oops, if I can spell the word humble. Humble. So Lego Lord of the Rings, which is apparently quite good, but I've never really gotten into the Lego games. It's never really been my thing. So if you're interested in that, you can go along to the Humble Bundle, sign up for their newsletter, and you'll get a free copy of Lord of the Rings Lego, if you're interested in that. However, when I signed up for mine, I clicked on the link to download it, and when I got there, at the landing page, I found out that somebody else had stolen my key, which is weird, because it's a free game. So I don't know who would steal that. So I've raised it with customer support, and they're being not very helpful. But, you know, you might not have those problems. So I'm not going to bother with this segments of the show. I'm sort of going to do what we please today. It's not going to be very structured. And as such, I want to talk a little bit about the games that we've picked up, first of all. So, and what we've been playing as well, of course. So I saw that Fortress Craft, this was actually before the winter sales, I saw that it was on sale for something like 75% off. And this is something that Hando suggested that we play together. Fortress Craft Evolved, it's called, which is just the most, like, generic title ever. Fortress Craft, like Minecraft and Warcraft. Then Evolved, which is literally another game series, just tagged onto the end of it. But there you have it. It sounds like a survival builder to the extreme. Plus, you know, beta and all that. Let me see what the tags are on it, actually, because they'll give us a good indicator of what it is. So on Steam, it's actually still 67% off for a bundle as well. 75% off for the base game. The base game is only £2.49. It's got mostly positive reviews, and it came out 4 years ago. It looks very Minecrafty to me. Very, very Minecrafty. It says, Fortress Craft Evolved is a unique blend of voxel landscapes, tower defense, crafting, logistics, exploration, combat, and assembly lines. Players begin by crash landing on a strange alien world left with only a handful of starting machines. So it looks pretty interesting. I like the automation side because I've been absolutely adoring Factorio recently. So this sounds quite interesting to me. It does look quite pretty, I have to say, and the fact that it's got such good reviews is a good sign. And hey, it's £2. So I've picked that up, and we'll see if we can play that. I've got that installed now as well. I've also been playing a little bit of Stellaris. I've still not picked up the latest DLC, though I do want it, mainly because I've heard kind of bad reviews about it. Or, you know what, that's a really bad human characteristic of me, to say bad reviews. What I mean is Stellaris has had a lot of mediocre reviews, and I think most people that see, you know, a film rated at 50% on Rotten Tomatoes or whatever will, you know, generally not go see that film, even though 1 out of 2 people liked it, which is a pretty good rating. There's a good chance you'll like that. And it's the same with the latest Stellaris DLC. It's got rather mediocre looking ratings, and so I've been avoiding it. Let me go check it right now. It's £15.49. It's called Megacorp, and yeah, there's 670 reviews, 64% of which are positive, and I see that as a bad thing. How dumb is that? It's such a human thing, isn't it? So I am kind of tempted to pick that up at some point, and I've started to convince myself today just by talking about it. It comes with corporate culture, so officers of the Megacorp can now conduct business on galaxy-wide scale with a host of new civics. Civics are kind of like civilization traditions in a way, I guess. But I guess the civics are more about rules you can set in place to your society. So, for example, martial law, I think, is a civic, that kind of thing. By building branch offices on planets within empires they can have trade agreements with, the Megacorp can add a portion of the planet's trade value to their own network. Using the new corporate authority, construct an economic powerhouse and dominate the galactic trade for a brighter future. You can make a city world, which is an ecumenopolis. I've never heard that word before. Players can increase the population density of core worlds to truly epic proportions, creating a planet-spanning megacity. That's pretty cool. There are caravaneer fleets. There are more megastructures than there originally are. There's things like Dyson spheres that you can make, which is basically a structure which encompasses a star and absorbs all of the energy that comes out of that star. Right? You can have a matter decompressor, a mega art installation, interstellar assembly, or strategic coordination center. So the matter decompressor, I believe what that is, it's a machine that sits next to a black hole, and what it does is it pulls out matter from the black hole, decompressing it, and then meaning that you're effectively mining it. So you're taking that matter out of a black hole and using it for your own purposes, which is pretty neat. I think that's a cool idea. There's Galactic Slave Market, VIP statuses and such, and new advisors and new music. So that's all pretty neat. So it looks pretty cool. I'm going to be picking that up. Hando said he picked up Stellaris recently. Have you had a chance to play? Yes, sir. And if so, I'd love to hear your views on it and whether you're enjoying it. So other than that, I have installed the Crypt of the Necrodancer I mentioned a little while ago, and I've still not touched it yet. Same with the Swapper. They're just sitting there. I reinstalled Skyrim a couple weeks ago, and I never did play it. I installed a bunch of mods, looked interesting. I jumped into the game, and I was on that freaking cart at the start of the game, running into Helgen, and thought to myself, nope, not feeling it. And I just closed it and uninstalled it straight away. I was so bad for that. Like impromptu, nope, not in the mood. And that's it. Maybe I'll try again in a year. The thing is, Skyrim, as much as I loved it at the time, it does feel quite old to me. What I want is something that has the feeling of the Skyrim experience, but isn't Skyrim. I don't want to have the same storyline doing the same things again. I guess what I'm saying is I want Elder Scrolls 6. That's what I want. I installed Magic 2014, but I did the same thing. I opened it up and then instantly uninstalled it for some reason. Okay, so the new games I picked up, I got them super cheap. I was really proud of this one, actually. Just Cause 3, I think I got for £2, £3 or something. It's like $5. And I really enjoyed Just Cause 1, and I actually had some teenage dream memories of playing this at friends' houses. Their parents would go away for a week on holiday or whatever, and we'd go over and play video games for a week. And one of the most popular games we'd play was Just Cause. And it was just, you know, it was madness. Playing on the original Xbox, jumping around with this grapple and stealing cars and doing missions and stealing planes. And it's kind of how the Grand Theft Auto feel, right? It's one of the, like, I think that kind of genre of video games that I guess includes things like Prototype 1 and 2, Grand Theft Auto, and Just Cause. These sort of like open world games that's fun to watch in a local, not even multiplayer, but a local single player experience where you have multiple friends watching a screen. It's quite fun to watch people play this stupid game and stupid stuff happening, explosions everywhere and their character goes flying. And you can introduce some fun rules, like let's have it so that whenever somebody dies, the next person gets a shot. Or you're not allowed to use any health cheats, but you're allowed other cheats. So you're spawning like planes all around you or whatever, and that's good fun. And that kind of thing. And that's a lot of fun. So the other thing that I installed is, well, actually no, I've got a couple more things to say actually with Just Cause. So Just Cause, I've played about a couple of hours of it now. And it's a single player game, it's an open world experience, and you're basically just flying around as this dictator assassin. It's kind of like your job to take down dictatorships, and that's what you're hired to do. And you fight with a bunch of rebels, and they help you out, and you basically go around to these different enemy bases. You use a grapple hook as your main form of transport and a parachute, which you often use in conjunction. So you'll be flying around in a parachute, you'll shoot this grapple to the floor and pull yourself along, so you're sort of like floating through the air at an accelerated speed. You can also grapple onto vehicles, onto people, which makes you kick them in the face. And when I say vehicles, I mean helicopters, tanks, cars, whatever. And it's just ridiculous. It's such a silly game, but it's so much fun. And there is a story, and there is like a storyline, and it's just it's what you'd expect. It's just, oh, you've saved the town, but now we can stop the dictator who's bad, and oh, here's a character that you might know as an NPC. He's a cowboy, because you'll only see maybe 10 lines of dialogue from this guy every 5 hours, so we have to give him an archetype, otherwise you wouldn't be able to fit him into memory. So he is the cowboy. That's the cowboy. And then here's the scientist, and you know what scientists are like? They have no social skills, and they're silly. That's what scientists are. And it feels a bit like you could probably skip the storyline elements. You can just press escape and go to, you know, skip scene, and then go back to playing the stupid game. It's a lot of fun. Don't take the game seriously. It's not supposed to be realistic in any which way. You're basically some kind of Superman god type character who just can take multiple bullet hits, fly around in a parachute, and somehow take out entire military bases alone. Take out tanks with a grapple, and that kind of thing. It's just so dumb. But it's just surprisingly fun. And one of the good things with Just Cause 3 is they have a lot of perks and such that you unlock. So there's certain challenges. If you steal a town from the enemy team, I guess, from the government, by liberating it, sorry. So you go along, you destroy the statues and the billboards and the speakers that are shouting propaganda, and you kill the guards and stuff. You get to take over the town. And once you've done that, you unlock a bunch of sort of fun missions. They tried to give them some gimmicky story element, like say it's a plane race challenge, and you know, if you finish the plane race in 30 seconds, you get the highest reward. If you do it in 35 seconds, you get the second highest reward, and so on, right? And then when you jump into the mission, it tries to say something along the lines of, oh, and now that you're here, this is where we train our pilots for the rebellion or something. Give it a shot if you want, Rico. And yeah, so it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of stupid challenges where, like, another feature that you get to play around with is a wingsuit. So you have a wingsuit, so if you're flying in a helicopter or you're on top of a giant mountain or building, not only do you have your parachute and grapple to use to get to the ground, you can also use a wingsuit. So you press E, and your arms fly out, and these leathery wing type things flap out from between your arms and your torso and your legs, and you can suddenly fall at a sort of in a controlled manner. So you can go in a specific direction that you like. And some of these challenges are based on this. So you have to go through certain flying hoops or whatever. And it's a lot of fun. And whenever you finish these little side missions, no matter what your score is, you get well, depending on your score, you get a number of rewards in the form of cogs, I think. And these cogs can be used to unlock your talents. So it's got an RPG element where you can, improve yourself by doing more of these challenges, which gives you more of these traits or talents or whatever. The talents allow you to do things like, well, I've not done enough to really explore them fully, but so far I've unlocked things like being able to grapple in faster. So you hold shift and it's like a sprint, but while you're grappling. What else is there? I think you get like specific types of explosions. You get more, I don't know, ammo in your magazines, stuff like that. So it enhances the game, but isn't like a new gameplay element, and that's kind of nice. It makes you, and there's some customization elements as well. I think you have to choose between certain ones, which ones you want to have on. So that's kind of nice because you can choose to play the game how you want to play it, and I always appreciate that. So it's not a serious game. It's kind of thing that well, when I've had a drink or two anyway, it's the kind of thing I like to open up and screw around in because it's just no thinking required. It's a little bit fast paced at time that you need to sort of quick actions to controlling your character flying through the air, or making sure you grapple into the right place, or whatever. And so it's a lot of fun. It's called Just Cause 3, and it's currently on Steam. It is currently on sale for £2.69. It's 85% off. However, you can actually get the XXL bundle for £5 more, which includes a whole bunch of stuff. I don't know, like some of the DLC, some extra weapons and vehicles. To be honest, I wouldn't be so interested in the weapons and vehicles because that's kind of like full content to me. But it does have actual DLC in there, so it might be worthwhile. You can also buy two other collections actually that look pretty good. The Just Cause collection, which is all of Just Cause 2 and Just Cause 3 stuff for £7, I think. Alternatively, you can get the Eidos anthology, which is a giant bundle, 122 things in there. I think that includes a lot of DLC, mind you. It's 91% off. It's normally £450. It's down to 41. So that's pretty good. It includes things including Conflict Denied Ops, Kane and Lynch, Tomb Raider Anniversary, that's pretty good. Project Snowblind, Tomb Raider Legend, Thief, Deadly Shadows. Thief was a good game. And a whole bunch more. I'm not going to go through them all. So I'm actually kind of tempted to pick up the DLC now that I've seen that there. That looks pretty interesting to me. But that's Just Cause 3. Now, Just Cause 4 is actually out as well, and you can pick that up on Steam as well. It's 20% off, but it's £36. And it's got mostly negative reviews. 34% of them are positive. So here's the top review that I found in the past 7 days. TLDR, Just Cause 3 is better. Don't pay the full price like I did for Just Cause 4. Expecting the game was going to be better than the last. It is a huge step backwards. Compared to the last game, the map seems as large as an ocean, but shallow as a puddle in terms of content. No races, no suit, no gear, and vehicle upgrades. You start out as a god. The tether grapple upgrades are pointless and just serve as a cosmetic way to mess around with the physics engine and offer no gameplay advantage like the upgrade system does in Just Cause 3. Gameplay is extremely repetitive, with outpost liberations becoming a thing of the past and just dumbed down. Go here, activate this terminal, wait 3 minutes while defending against the same repetitive enemies. And the funny part is, when you health up or lose your health and die, there is no penalty whatsoever. Then boom, region liberated, and hardly any effort at all. It just seems like a cheap cash grab by Avalanche Studios this time round. Plus the Chaos rewarded squads serve no purpose in the game, as you can just get squads from liberating regions. So the graphics aren't nice, however. And that's it. Also, it crashes frequently. Yeah, that doesn't sound too appealing. So that's Just Cause 4 compared to Just Cause 3. Whatever you want to pick up, I would recommend number 3. Alright. So, tell me what you guys have been up to. What have you decided to pick up? Is there anything that has grabbed your interest? Do let me know. Send an emails to showx@weeklyrussians.com. I am interested. Right, so in terms of other games I've been playing, so I mentioned that I picked up one more game, and that's Elite Dangerous. So I am not interested in this game, and I know that's weird. But basically, sometimes if you're really into music and somebody, and you know, and a thousand of the top critics and reviewers out there say this album is one of the best of this century, you know, you kind of have to go listen to it. Like if somebody says, have you ever heard of Elvis? Like, who hasn't heard of Elvis, right? You've tried them, even if it doesn't necessarily appeal to you. You'll listen to a bunch of Elvis' songs because it's got such a good reputation. That's kind of my feeling with Elite Dangerous. I don't really give a crap about this whole... I enjoy space exploration games when it comes to... I don't know. Things like Mass Effect, where the space element is really just a way of going to different worlds and experiencing different environments. And maybe having space stations is interesting. Space is cool for what's in space, not for the space itself, right? Space is literally nothingness. Space is nothingness with things occasionally sparsely placed throughout it. And so Elite Dangerous to me doesn't particularly appeal to me because it seems like a lot of that is just like a taxi system. Just driving around. Can't say it appeals. The next thing that kind of bugs me, and I know I'm probably going to be... You'll probably disagree with me here. And some part of my mind does not let me enjoy space games that are very unrealistic. So, obvious thing, sound in space, right? The difference is that Elite Dangerous has, you're inside the cockpit, so you're hearing the sounds from there. There is air to have the sound pass through. So that does make sense, and that doesn't annoy me too much. What really irritates me is whenever we're, so I only played about half an hour of this, really not much time at all. When you're flying around space, and say you get in a fight with something, not only are the controls hella difficult to use on keyboard and mouse, by the way, like I really struggle with the three-dimensional space. I actually started feeling a little sick, and I've never even had that with VR or anything ever before, so that annoyed me a little bit. I can't blame the developers for that. That's really just my own biology, I suppose. But I found that one of the things that really irritated me was having a space battle, and you're shooting somebody, and you know they're 5 kilometers away, and that's fine. But the problem is, if you shoot them from 5 kilometers away, it'll do nothing. You can't do it. It just can't aim like that. So you have to get within a few hundred meters. That is so unrealistic for what space combat will be like. I mean, right now on Earth we don't fight that way anymore. I mean, infantry does to an extent, but you know, vehicular combat between large ships is done at great distances. They're not right next to each other like in the days of pirate ships. You know, that's not the way it is. We don't need to board each other. We need... What will happen in reality is once we get to the point of having space battles, with or without lasers, it'll get to the point where we shoot projectiles from so far away that people will probably have time to miss, right, and evade. So we're going to have to start having projectiles that aim themselves in terms of, you know, rockets, you know, with propellants in the back of them so that they can actually get to the target and maneuver and shift. And that's going to be how combat will be. And of course, if we have lasers, that's going to be a different thing entirely, because great distances won't really make that much of a difference to light, right? So if we can shoot, so long as you can kind of see them, even if you can't physically see them with your eye, so long as your ship could see the enemy, you'll be able to shoot them from huge distances. And since it's light speed, you know, you can shoot not only a long distance, but almost instantaneously. So space combat is going to be pretty boring in reality. And I suppose what I'm saying is that I'm well aware this doesn't transition well into the game, because that'd be boring, you know. If in instantaneous kills, you shoot somebody with a laser and they just die. Now you might say, oh, but what if the laser's absorbed by the shields or the hull or whatever else? Well, there's another problem in space, and that is that here on Earth, because we have atmosphere around us, a lot of heat dissipates really quickly. Like that's a really big problem that we have to deal with on Earth, and that's why so many plants and animals have specific measures in place to deal with this problem, right? So when you get too warm, your heart will race, and the blood will move the heat from certain hot areas in your body to other parts. Your veins will actually go slightly closer to the surface, and the blood will be put closer to the surface of your body so that it expels into the atmosphere more readily. And that means you can cool down, right? And several other tactics, including sweating and such, right? Okay, now that's useful because we have air, we have atmosphere on Earth. Now, if you're in a spaceship, or if you're in space, imagine you're just flowing through space with an oxygen tank on, let's just say. And let's just imagine that you're not being destroyed by gravity or radiation, okay? So you're flowing through space with this tank on, and you'd think to yourself, oh, but it's so cold there. Surely you'd freeze instantaneously. No, that's not what happens in space. In fact, you would probably freeze slower in space than you would in many places on Earth. And that's because there's nowhere for the heat really to go. It doesn't really get sucked out as much. Generally speaking, heat does not dissipate nearly the speed it does on Earth. So that's actually an issue, right? Fine, it means that we can survive longer in space in terms of the heat. But if you're shooting somebody with a laser that's powerful enough to do damage, which means it's going to be heat energy it transforms into, I imagine it wouldn't be kinetic. So thermal energy is getting blasted at you. Your spaceship's going to start heating up a hell of a lot, right? So one of the biggest problems we're going to have in space battles is that you're hit by a laser. Suddenly you start your ship heats up drastically, and you boil, or you get sautéed, you get steamed to death. That's the reality of laser battles in space. And not only that, you won't see the enemy who's doing it to you. They'll be so far away. They'll be on they'll be peeking around the side of the nearby moon, shooting you with a laser. Before your sensors can tell you to evade, you've already been hit by it, and you're cooking to death. So you'd either surrender straight away, or that'd be you dead. And that's that. That's space battles. So I guess what you need to start thinking about is having, like, you know, adding the fictional elements, and that's kind of what the game does, where you have, like, shields, right? So shields that absorb the laser somehow. Okay, whatever, right? We don't need to necessarily understand it all because it's not to be understood. It's science fiction, right? So that's how you deal with that. And the other thing is, it's boring, right? The biggest issue is that it's freaking boring to have instantaneous battles like that. Just like in any shooting game, it's not fun if you can just shoot an enemy and they die instantly. Or if you get shot and you die instantly. It's just not fun. We end up having bullet sponge type games. That's why games like Halo are so fun and successful. It's because, you know, it wasn't just a case of whoever saw that there was a faster internet connection wins. No, it's a case of, you know, they might get a slight advantage, but in the end, skill can overcome it through consistent aiming. That's the whole point. And so I think Elite Dangerous has that kind of issue as well, where they realize it's going to be dull if there's instantaneous death from great distances, and so they've made it so that you have to kind of get close. I get it, but if you're at a point where, you know, we're in space, why would a human be controlling where we're aiming? It seems dumb. Like, even in the very first tutorial, it shows a little bubble of where you should be aiming, because you're shooting projectiles, and you want to aim slightly ahead of where the ship's going. And so to do that, you need to point at this bubble and shoot that bubble. But if the ship knows where to aim, why is it not shooting? I know you can argue over there'd be no fun and yada yada yada, but it just, I don't know, it kind of takes away from the realism slightly for me, because it just, all these things put together, right? We're in space, but we don't seem to have computers able to do anything. We already have drones on Earth, AI automatically shooting people in buildings and such. Why is that being removed for space? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being dumb. And lastly, the most important thing, those are just sort of side things. The most important thing that I find unappealing about Elite Dangerous is the fact that it is mostly a taxi system. Space is dull. It's the stuff in between that's interesting. It's going to the other planets that's interesting. It's the moons, it's the asteroid belts, it's the beautiful gas giants and the different types of nebulae and stars. Those are the beautiful artistic things that we want to explore and see. That's the final frontier, right? But that's what we want to go see. We don't give a crap about the space in between. Sorry, but it's dull. It really is. And Elite Dangerous feels like it's kind of just focusing on that so far for me. Now, I'm going to give it more of a shot, to be fair. I've barely scratched the surface. Those are my initial thoughts on it. That being said, I think they did the cockpit feel very well. It makes me wish I had some kind of VR device, because I do feel like I'm missing out on an element of the game in that I'm seeing it on my computer screen, where I feel like I should be in a cabin. I really do feel that. It does feel very VR friendly, and it makes me kind of sad I'm missing out on that. Hando says, is Elite Dangerous multiplayer? Now, I don't know the exact answer, because I have a feeling... so it is massively multiplayer, but I don't know how how that works, though. So finding players in such a sparse player-to-player world is not frequent, unfortunately. This actually ruins open play, in my opinion, says somebody on Steam forums. I came to Elite hoping for real player interaction. I get NPCs mostly. I am disappointed. It really is effective as a solo game most of the time. So apparently you have chances of meeting people in the main hubs and such, shipping lanes or high population areas, but generally speaking you're not going to bump into people. But yes, it is online. So that's another element I've not touched with whatsoever. Yeah, Hando's got it right? Alexa, arm photon torpedoes. That's part of it, right? Like, if we already have Alexa and Google Assistant, why do we take a step back and do everything manually? It just confuses me greatly. I think I'd enjoy a lot more managing the spaceship, you know? Like, I think I'd enjoy being a director of a spaceship, a captain. A Star Trek type approach. Because, you know, like, admittedly in Star Trek they have some silly things, of course. But a lot of it makes a lot of sense as well. I mean, for example, when you see the enemy spaceship, it's because they zoom into it, right? And they show that frequently. They're not saying it's right next to you. You zoom right into it every single time. It's heavily hinted at, and so that's fine. The ship is far away. Next, when they fire photon torpedoes, they have pre-made like spread patterns in the system that they've trained for a long time, and that is known throughout their culture, right? They have typical spread patterns that they do for shooting photon torpedoes and such. Why don't we have that? Why don't we have it so that the captain says, "Okay, I've hired this arms officer who is going to deal with all the combat stuff, controlling the AI, making sure they do certain things, but." You know, at a high level, even if you can take over the combat, it should be a high level thing, like enable evasive actions should be enough, right? Even that is kind of unnecessary, because then any sensible AI on a starship would obviously try to avoid a rocket coming towards it. Why wouldn't it, right? But admittedly, if there's maybe, I don't want to say human, maybe there's a communication element of it where we feel that we might be under attack due to the way that somebody spoke to us via communications, then we can tell the computer to do something specific based on that. And that's where the fun could be in it. And that's the thing with Star Trek, right? The Star Trek coolness, what didn't come from the technology or the space battles. Those were nice, but what really, the thing about Star Trek was the people and how interesting the politics were and the situations, right? The diplomacy. That was a large part of Star Trek. And so I don't know. If Elite Dangerous goes down that path, that's something I'll be more interested in. But right now, I just feel like I don't know, a bit of a cowboy in space. Somebody who unnecessarily wants to take manual control of a spaceship and risking their life repeatedly for no reason. It's just a bit confusing to me. All right, so that's one of the games I've been looking at and such. I have been playing a little bit of Factorio. Hando, I don't know if you've seen what I've done, but I've done a fair bit over the past 2 weeks in our little Factorio server. Now, I say little. Now, I'm actually going to turn off the audio here, in terms of this music. I actually want to go shout out first, though. Big shout out to, what's the channel name? Oh, the channel name is No Copyright Music Free Audio Library for the lo-fi hip-hop beats. That was much appreciated. I like having a background music when I'm alone. It makes it a little bit easier to feel like things are going on normal and chill and such. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stream some Factorio, because that sounds like fun to me. So, Hando, if you want to jump in here, you're welcome to. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Anybody else who wants to join in as well, I can provide server details. We can have up to 5 people playing at once. So that'll be good fun. Let me just quickly log into Twitch so I can tell Twitch that we're actually playing Factorio, so that it doesn't have a fit.
Like Evie, yeah,
oh,
Evie.
Oh! Don't do that. Don't do that, Twitch. That's not nice. It's doing that thing where it tries to tell me that I want to listen to somebody else doing stuff when I'm like, no, bro, I don't want to do that because I'm trying to do my own show here, bro. Because Twitch is a bro. All right, so I managed to successfully. Oh my god, stop doing the autoplay. Seriously, dude. Okay, I've never done this before. I don't think so. I'm successfully on our show. I logged in as the show. That's good. Now we need to tell it to play. We're playing something. How do I do that? We are playing something. Channel. Okay, don't play. Don't play me on top of me. Sorry, folks. I know this is not the most interesting. Okay, category. There we go. Factorio. Let's do this. Save. Let's go. Right, we're jumping in. So, Factorio is a fantastic game that anybody doesn't know. It is absolutely amazing. It is not a game. It's a spreadsheet simulator of some sorts. And it's amazing. It's just so good. It's just the best game. Hopefully you can hear the music in the background now. I'm going to modify this so you can see what we're doing. I'll make myself nice and small down here. And let's have the game capture on. To capture... No, not Warcraft. Factorio. Alright. And we'll set that on top. Okay. There we go. You should be able to see it now. Oh, and I've hidden my camera. Oops. Okay. Okay, give it a second to log in. So yeah, Factorio is basically this game that is a factory simulator on an alien world. That is basically the premise of Factorio. And the idea, the whole. If I could start with one word, the word would be automation. The idea is you start off on this planet and you have to do everything yourself. You've got to mine the ore yourself. You've got to smelt it yourself and all this. But eventually, over time, you begin to do other stuff. So we'll get into that now. So multiplayer. I'm going to connect to a server. That's our IP. I can give this out if anybody wants it. And then I'm going to put in our little secret password here. I can give that out too if you would like me to. Just get in touch. I'm not going to give it out freely though, because you never know who's going to be listening in and try to troll or whatever. So this is going to be a bit of a jump in the deep end. Not the deepest end, because I've never gotten there. This is just the deep end. This is partly so I can show Hando what we've been up to as well. So this is what the game looks like. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. But basically this is a factory, right? As you see. Now, if I press Alt, you can see something happens there. These are little icons up here, on and off. It's saying what these machines are doing and what mods they have inside them. Now, don't worry too much about that, but these ones are all making grenades, right? So these are all making grenades. You'll see below that we have some belts here. These are just making things go left to right, right to left, up to down, bottom to up, whatever. And we can see there's certain flows of them going in certain directions and such that we prefer. Which makes sense, right? If imagine an airport that has baggage going from place to place, you all want to go to different places and be smart and make sure the bags go to the correct flight and everything like that. And that's kind of what's going on here. So at the most basic level of the game, what you do is you have these things like little miners like this, not as in children, as in mining apparatus, mining tools. These are electric mining drills, so as long as they have electricity going to them, they will mine whatever they're on top of. Now you can see at the bottom right of the screen, it says expected resources 33k, and it has some weird squiggly picture. That means there's 33,000 iron ore in there. So it's continually mining this and putting onto this belt. This belt is then traversing all this ore up here. You can see some of it moving forward, and it's going into here. Now this is where it gets really confusing. Now let's not go this one. This one's a bit confusing. Let's go over here. So it goes up here. Now you'll see that when it is just ore on this belt, it joins on with some other stuff. Oh God, what's happened here? Why are there? Okay, okay. For anybody who's just seen that, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was when I did an auto replace type thing. That was weird. That's really concerned me. There's some more over here. Okay, that was a weird error. Right, so what's happening here is we have all this iron ore coming in, and I want it to split across here. So there's one belt going to the right here, one belt going to the left here. And this is a splitter, which means some goes into the left, some goes into the right. It just splits it up nice and equally. Although I don't need this here anymore. Okay, this again splits into here, and we also have this other stuff here. This is fuel. Fuel gets handed in through this underground belt. It goes over here, and it splits onto these two sides as well. So this belt is now filled with iron ore and fuel, which is picked up by these smelters and smelted into iron ingots. Alright, and then we've got some machine hands which pass things in and out the smelters. That is the premise of how most of this game functions. You have a bunch of belts, you have some machines that do something with the things on the belts, then you pass the new items onto other belts. Right? And you can make a bunch of stuff. So, for example, here the iron ingots are getting made into ammo, right? And then the ammo is getting passed along here and made into better ammo. Alright? And that's just happening. And eventually later on it'll be made into even better ammo on top of that. Now there's a whole lot of stuff to this game, but let me move up and no longer pretend like everybody is completely new at this game. I have got some mods installed, not many. I think there's about 3 or 4 in the server. They include the helicopter mod, which is this one here. Our good friend Hando showed me this. It is pretty useful. It's a bit buggy at times, but it's a nice little... You'll see this little UI appearing at the top left. Basically, you just get a helicopter that you can fly around on, like this. And it'll fly over pretty much everything. And you'll notice it's freaking out as I fly over the base, right? It's all over the place. And the reason for that is this mod doesn't work well with transport belts. So whenever I make it go over a transport belt, it tries to move the helicopter, which is really dumb. Even the helicopter's flying over everything, and the transfer belts try to move it. So that's why it freaks out, and the screen shakes a lot when I go over the base like that. But the cool thing about this helicopter is that you can use it to explore the land. And if you press M, you'll see that we've got quite a large base here, or at least for me, it's quite big. But out in the whole world, there's a lot of world. It's infinite, ever expanding. As long as we explore, more will be found. Right. So originally this base was really just this size. This part here, not even this part. It was just the ore, some of the ore stuff here, and that was it. But as time went on, it's been expanded. Some of this stuff used to be train based. In fact, some of it still is. So we've got a big train track going from here over here. Collects a bunch of stone, and then goes over here, drops it off to be smelted into bricks. We also have another train line down here that still exists. This is our major copper drop-off. And how that works is it connects to this really long line. It connects to this train that we can see is coming in here. And it receives a bunch of ore that is mined over to the left here. It's passed over into some chests in the right, so that it's ready to be picked up nice and quickly. And all the machines fill these trains up with a bunch of ore, and then it takes them all back. Let me just land this helicopter so that before so this stops making so much annoying noises. Okay, and I'll go back to where we're looking at. So this is the copper getting filled up, and you'll see it's now full, so it's picking up and going back. Now we're seeing this through a radar. Radar only works where radars are. We only have a radar up to there, so now the screen will turn into pixely overview. So there we go. There's the train coming back. Now this is like a train guy's, or one of those weird train people's kind of wet dream. You can really make your trains do whatever you want, right? You can make them go back and forth, have schedules, and interlink across different tracks, and so on and so forth. And it's all pretty neat. But I kind of choose them for their base purpose, and I don't get too excited with them. I think they're pretty cool. But this is probably the biggest train I've ever made, actually. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carriages with 2 trains on either end. So it can bring a crap ton of copper along with us. I'm not entirely sure why these bits are not getting used as much as the others, considering we have a one of these bad boy balancers over here. But there you have it. So yeah, that's the train system. I've been using some blueprints of Factorio blueprints. Here's one of the one right here. It allows us to have a huge solar array that's very efficient. It's got the substations that sit in the middle of a bunch of different solar panels and next to a bunch of accumulators, so that it can absorb sunlight during the day, store the excess into the batteries, and then use them at night, which is cool. So that's neat. We've got a couple of these actually. We've got 4 over here. Now I wasn't planning on going solar, but it's how it goes, right? You start making a base and you do your stuff, and you turn around 1 second, suddenly you've got no power left. So I ended up making a couple, and then I ended up making a couple more, and so on and so forth. Now this is the most I don't know, as far in the game as I've ever gotten, because this is the first time I've ever had to do anything with uranium. So basically what's happening here is we have a train which goes all the way up here to the Chernobyl, as I've called it, which drops off a bunch of uranium acid, sorry, sulfuric acid even, which is required to mine the uranium. So the mining drills that are here as normal require an input of sulfuric acid in order to be able to mine the uranium. The uranium is then mined, put into chests, and whenever the train arrives, it fills up the train with all the uranium, and then it returns. So there's a little base, and we drop off the uranium here, and it passes the uranium into 2 centrifuges. I should probably make some more, but right now I've only got 2. It passes whatever is made into this chest here. Let me actually go back into my main character rather than showing on the map. And the chests currently only contain uranium-238, which is needed and an essential thing. But we need uranium-238, iron, and uranium-235 in order to make uranium fuel cells. Don't ask why. I'm sure there's some physics behind this that's kind of based on real life, but I don't fully understand or even pretend to understand. But basically, uranium has 2 ingredients that we need to get. It spawns randomly from the centrifuge. Well, I'll say it's actually very uniformly. Yeah, there's a 99% chance of 238 and 0.7% chance of 235. So you know, it's not random. And then that's passed on to this belt once the fuel cells are being produced. There's a few sitting there right now, and these are handed into the nuclear reactor, which is sitting right here. The nuclear reactor works by it takes in these fuel cells, it burns them or whatever, and then a bunch of heat comes off of it. The heat goes into these heat exchangers, which are basically machines that take in water and let out steam. The steam needs to hit 500 degrees Celsius, which you can do very easily because it's a nuclear reactor, it's quite powerful. And it passes the steam into the steam turbine, and the steam turbines then produce energy. So if we click on this substation here, we can see where all the production and usage of energy is across the whole network. So right now, for example, the assembly machines, which are used for crafting, are taking up almost 20 megawatts, just over 20 megawatts of energy, but we're currently producing 52 point something megawatts just from the solar panels. Basically, the reason for that, the reason this nuclear reactor isn't doing anything, or the reason that the steam engines that we're using elsewhere are not working, is because the solar panels are free, right? They cost nothing. No fuel is required. We may as well use those first. Then if we start running out of energy, we start using other things. So here you can see this is starting to creep up. It's because it's no longer, well, it's because the sun is setting. And so, or I guess the star in this case. So the solar panels are being less effective over time as there's less light. And so the steam turbines in this nuclear reactor are starting to pick up. We can see steam coming off them. And they're slowly but surely having their performance increase and producing a little bit more energy per second. And that makes sense. Now, the reason that we're not using the accumulators is because the nuclear reactor, it never stops working. It keeps going. It has to keep going. So it's actually more beneficial to use the nuclear reactor first as an energy source, since it's going to be wasted otherwise, than it is to use the accumulators energy from the solar panels. So in order, is solar panel is best for usefulness, then it's going to be nuclear, then it's going to be steam, then it's going to be accumulators. That's how the game does it. Alright. As you can see at the top here, production is minimal. We're at like what, 15%, and that means that we actually are. We've got the ability to produce way more energy than we actually need. And we've got 3.5 gigajoules stored away in the accumulator as a backup as well. So we're absolutely fine for energy. There is no problem, right? Even if we didn't have the solar panels on, it's not an issue. We've got so much backup spared, mainly from the nuclear stuff now as well. So it's really not an issue. We can also look at this is over the past 5 seconds, these graphs at the bottom. We can also set it to like 1 minute, 10 minute. You can see the daylight cycles, right, of the solar panels over time. Hour, 10 hours, 50 hours. Now you can see that means that we played the game for less than 50 hours. I think there's something like 30 hours in this game so far. So that's pretty neat, right? And you can see over time what's being used the most is actually the mining drills that can use the most. That's pretty cool. Alright, I'm getting reminded that we are actually... sorry, one more thing. Wayne brings up something interesting in the chat there about mods. The only thing that I've actually brought into the mods with this game is the helicopter. That's it. And a lighting mod for the assembly, for the machines. Basically, if the machine is being used, it now lets off light. That never used to be a thing. It's a tiny little mod. It's entirely aesthetic, but it makes me happy. And the one other mod that we have is this button at the top left, which is the upgrade planner. What this does is you make a little, it adds an item to your inventory, which is called the upgrade planner. What this does, is it now open up here, is you can make it have basically a set of instructions, so that whenever you highlight over an area, these things will happen if they're in your inventory. So, for example, if there are any inserters, I would like them to be upgraded to fast inserters. If there are any of the normal, slow transport belts, I'd like them to become fast, and so on and so forth, right? So that by default, we can upgrade all the things in a flick. So let me just show you as an example. I don't know. Can I actually do I have actually anything for example? Okay, here's a few chests. All right, here's a few chests. Tell to upgrade, hover over, and they all upgrade. Right, nice and easy. It just means that we can, rather than doing it yourself, and this is something you find a lot in Factorio. It's kind of a pain without the mod actually. Is that, for example, if you've got 100, more than that. Let's say you've got 5,000 belts around your base and in various spaghetti directions, it's quite difficult to go through and upgrade them all individually. So that mod is incredibly useful. Very, very useful. Now, one of the biggest problems with that mod is that sometimes if you... Oh, I don't know. Like, for example, if I build over something, like let's just say here, right? This belt here. If I build that there, you'll see it says +8 copper plate. That means that it's added those to my inventory. Now, if I do that for, 5,000 tiles, that's going to be a lot of stuff added to my inventory. And I don't have much space in my inventory. So sometimes that causes it to overload. If you have too much stuff in your inventory, it just appears around your character in a big sprawl. It kind of looks like this. Like that. See that red stuff all on the floor? That's kind of what happens. So, in order to prevent that from happening, you just need to do smaller areas. But that's kind of what I did here. I think that's what the mistake here is that I accidentally upgraded when I shouldn't have. And that means, oh, I totally screwed up. I don't know how I got this. I should just delete the save now. I'm kidding, of course. But I'm guessing that's what happened, because I don't know how else I got electric circuits all inside my fuel like that. So weird. It must have been an overflow somewhere. I'm going to have to search through all the fuel, make sure it hasn't broken anything. Because sometimes if you have, say right here, this inserter is waiting on a bit of fuel to work, and all it sees is an electric component or something dumb there that's not supposed to be there, it will just fail. Alright, so it is time for the break. We're going to do a swap over, I think, here, so that Wayne can jump on the show, and you can get a break from my voice, and my voice can get a break from talking too much. So thank you all for being here so far. The show is not over. We've got another hour left. We'll be back shortly. Hold on to your horses. I'll put on some music for now, and we'll be back in a moment. Let me just find some, because I'm not at all planned here. Let me put on something here. Let's have some Leo. Oh, let's do the Sultans of Swing. I've not heard this one before. This, you're listening to myself, Ken, on ShowX of VTuberVersions.com. We'll be back after a couple of songs. See you shortly.
Hey, Mary, show me that riff.
Okay.
faces. Coming in and out on the range, you hear the jazz go down. Competition in other places. Oh, but the horns, they're blowing that sound. Way on downtown. Way on downtown, London town.
Check out Guitar George. He knows all the chords. Mine is strictly rhythm. He doesn't want to make it cry or sing. Left-handed old guitar is all he can afford. When he gets up under the lights to play his thing.
And Harry doesn't mind if he doesn't make the scene. He's got a daytime job, he's doing alright. He can play the honky tonk like anything, saving it up for Friday night with the suckers, with the sometimes of swing. Yeah. I wanna be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test, to train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and wide. Use Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. I know it's my destiny. Pokemon, whoa, you're my best friend. In a world we must defend. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. So true, our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all. Yeah. Every challenge along the way, with courage I will face. I will battle every day to claim my rightful place. Come with me, the time is right. There's no better deal. Arm in arm, we'll win the fight. It's always been a dream. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. I know it's my destiny. Pokemon, whoa, you're my best friend. In a world we must defend. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. So true, our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all.
Can you hear me, sir? Okay, cool. Let's see. If I can get OBS, I can hear you. It's of course, if I can get voice meter to do what it needs to.
Alright folks, you have been listening to myself, Ken, on ShowX on VTuberations.com. I'm just going to hand it over to Wayne in a moment. I'm speaking to let him know that he can also be heard. I think he can actually be heard as well. I don't know if I got this working. Can you hear me, Wayne? Okay, can everybody else hear Wayne?
Not that bad.
We can hear. Yeah, we can hear other people. We can hear people.
You will probably hear my nieces in the background then as well.
I think I got it working. Yeah. Okay. I think we can. I think we can actually do it.
So with that in mind, I think you can kick it right back on and let's keep going.
All right. So let me just try and fix Skype here because the one thing is there's absolutely no video here whatsoever, and so we're just talking in the vacuum right now.
People see a beautiful blank screen, but
hey,
hear our voices.
It's better than the normal screen of just me, so it's an improvement. All right. Okay, I've got me there. Let me add on.
So, admittedly, one of the problems I was running into with Skype with the show now is getting OBS to pull it, and so we may have to. You may not be able to see me unless you've put in. There's a plugin I had to run called NDI or something like that allowed me to come through as well, or to allow me to pull your video. And so, in a way, it's okay if you just have your view, and if nothing else, if I don't come through this time, that's okay. Oh wait,
I had you for a second, but it's being funny.
Yeah, like I said, it was freaking out last time I tried to do it.
I think it's because it's trying to connect to that secondary stupid window that it has.
Yep. Well, it's part of the way that the Skype software has updated, and that they're trying to merge the app and the standalone, and so that is what has caused it, unfortunately. So, but as you play with that, and like I said, I wouldn't stress too much about the video part of me as it is. You know, putting in the chat or something like that is plenty enough.
Yeah.
But for those who might have seen a picture of it, or if you might hear it in the backdrop, it's because I am not alone as I am doing this part of the show from here, and I apologize for me being an hour late. But I am in Nebraska with my family, and we are getting ready to celebrate the holiday season. And so with that, I have, 3 of my 4 nieces down here as well. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I hear the 4th one coming down to cause trouble. Oh no, that would be my sister. That's all right. There's no video right now. You're safe. And as well as my younger brother, Earthweaver, is also here in the room. So that's what we're going and doing right now. And my nieces have been kind enough to try to temper their enthusiasm, meaning their volume, as they are here in the same room, since they are excitable bunch. From
it's an excitable time of year. It's very understandable.
Yes, it's a good time of year. And I think anyone who might have seen at least my social media post about my seeing my nieces for the first time yesterday, they would understand the energy they have. And so, yes. Anyhow, but how is everyone doing? It's good to see you. Sorry again, Pian, for coming up. One of the challenges of both friends, family, technology, and changing time zones, myself physically, that all kind of put me in a bit where I honestly, for most of the day, forgot that today was Sunday through travel. And so I was completely, And then I spent most of the morning playing or helping set up things, trying to get things set up so that my nieces could all play together in Fortnite, since that is apparently their game of choice right now as a group. And instead of it working 100% between them all, as I was trying to update on my laptop to share that with them, I instead gave up access and gave them my phone to add it to the mix. And any messages that I might have received during that time that was being played by Fortnite elsewhere in the house. And so, unfortunately, also lost track of time and what was going on. So that is completely my fault. But regardless of that, hey, everybody, a preemptive Merry Christmas, because we are only, a day away?
2 days.
2 days.
Away. As I am being corrected by the background as well.
Yeah. Ken and the children.
So 2 days away from getting updated with it being Christmas time for everyone. So Merry Christmas, and hopefully you all are out there celebrating a bit, seeing family, friends, enjoying, as Ken is just tiling various things to make the screen less empty.
Yeah, not just random ShowX imagery.
So we'll get that settled. But all right, so Ken, how have you been this week? And I'm sure you've already talked about some things since you were playing Factorio. I can only imagine whether you've shared or done other things with that or not.
Yeah, we did a little bit at the start. We didn't really follow any particular plan. It was more of a case of let's just do stuff, and we talked about whatever we really felt like. I say we. I'm singular. And we just talked about whatever. Yeah, I talked about some of the games in the Steam sale. I'd be interested to hear if you've picked up anything, sir.
You know, so admittedly, I have not picked anything up for myself this Steam sale yet, because that it is an opportunity where I've in the past purchased so many games that it's not something I have a whole slew of ones I need. There are many that have come out that I want. As the unfortunate side of my wish list telling me everything that's got a discount going on right now.
Ooh.
But at the same time, I have such a list of games that I have not played that I've kind of told myself I'm not allowed to buy new games for myself unless there's like an amazing, amazing, amazing deal, and it's a game that I swear I'm going to actually play in the next month or less.
Oh, that's tough.
Right?
No, because
right now
most of my games I buy is a sort of like, once I become an elderly OAP, old age pensioner, I will retire and play all these games.
And unfortunately, that is far too close or true to what I would have to do in order to like make it through anything of my library. So I've kind of left it as eventually I'll play a bunch of these games, but in the meantime, I should probably stop collecting more games. And part of that comes from the idea that the longer I wait, the cheaper eventually they will go on sale for.
That's true.
And so if I can hold off, even though I see something that looks great, then it's like, yeah, let me just wait, and maybe it'll, so it keeps me from buying now. Because I see the sale prices, and I'm like, that's a great price. And I've done that too many times and realized I still haven't like actually played those games.
Mm-hmm. No, I get you. So I was saying I picked up Elite Dangerous.
Oh, yeah, I saw that on your list, actually.
Yeah, so it's something that I like I said, I don't know how I feel about it, because I've always been more interested in space as a way of getting between worlds and, seeing the stuff that's in space, not so much space itself. Space itself is dull, right? Space is nothingness. But the actual stuff inside it is fun. But I worry about these kind of games that seem like glorified taxi simulators. Futuristic taxis, don't get me wrong, but taxi simulators all nonetheless.
A lot of it has to do with what they do to make the time not take so long, essentially, to allow for time to make it so that you can focus on what's fun and less the travel and things like that. And so that's some of what changes it. But yes, if it is literally the time to fly between places, then that's going to be boring. And so, yeah. No, it's interesting, though, that you got Elite Dangerous, because I've had it for some time now, because it's one of those ones that is listed as one of the better VR games out there.
That's one of the things I was saying, actually, is that it made me feel like I wish I had VR goggles, because it seemed perfect for that.
And it's something that I've heard from many that it's like, that is legit one of the best uses of it. And so I'm curious, because that's one that I personally want to check out more of, but I have yet to play it. And so I don't know, I'm silly that way.
Yeah, I don't know. The game feels a bit silly playing it without being VR, because you're in a cockpit, and that makes you feel like you should be able to look around. And it feels a bit lackluster knowing that the VR exists that I don't have. So I suddenly feel a bit silly playing it.
Interesting.
And plus, I was saying that unlike any other game, and no roller coaster, no flight, no transport mechanism, nothing has ever made me feel like I need to throw up or feel dizzy.
Okay.
That game has.
Really?
And I've used VR before, not for very long, but in passing, I've tried various VR devices out. I've tried, I've got the Gear VR. I've tried a PlayStation VR. I've tried. Oh, what's the most common one? I don't know. I forgot the name.
Oculus.
The Oculus. I've tried Oculus as well. The older version as well, not even the more stable one. And none of them made me feel sick. But this game, I was in my first ever space battle in it, and I was turning, and it was the guy flew past me, and I was like trying to turn, but at the same time like yaw, and I was like, oh god, and I realized I had to look away from the screen for a second, because some part of my mind was just upset by what was going on for some reason. It's like my brain couldn't quite accept it.
No, that's a thing that is legit happens. That for me, whenever I've used VR in a similar way, that's like, no, I'm usually pretty good. When I'm flying around and everything's kind of happening at once, it's weird because my brain is saying it should be this way, it should feel this way, it needs to do this and that. But then when you actually, but then my body is telling me nothing's changed, nothing's happened. And so together, that usually messes me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say that, because the worst ones for me are War Thunder and Valkyr? Eve Valkyr or something like that.
Yeah.
Those two messed me up. And so, yeah. Yep.
All right.
Anywho.
So I'm gonna have to see. I'm gonna think about it. I don't know.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Well,
it's something I want to get into because it's got such high ratings, right? That's the thing. So many people screamed about it for so long, and I do love the idea of it, I guess. And it's like No Man's Sky. I actually quite enjoyed it. I got it 5 months ago for PlayStation, and I played around with it for a couple of days, and I was like, this is pretty neat, but it's not. It's just I just wasn't really feeling the PlayStation in general anymore. It wasn't so much the game, so I stopped playing it and I actually gave the game away to Graham. But it's something I would happily play again because, again, there is space stuff in it, but it's really about exploring planets, and that's the thing that was kind of cool about it, and the pretty thing about it. It's something that's very much missing so far for Elite Dangerous for me. But yeah, again, I'm only like 45 minutes in, half an hour in, so.
But you aren't playing it in VR, and you said you did get some of that nausea?
Yes.
Oh gosh, that scares me so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not good.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
Oh boy. So no, that's good to hear. Let's see. I guess for one of the things I should just catch up on my end of the dysfunctional piece of this, since we're not going to go too many far things in there, but that I traveled out here Friday, I believe it was. Pretty much uneventful, but good drive, although it was how many hours on the road? Some in the range of just over 7 hours on the road, and I really didn't stop other than to fill up gas. And so just headed straight out. And when I got in, it was just myself and my folks. And then yesterday, first thing, Earthweaver showed up. So my younger brother was here. And then in the afternoon, these crazy ladies showed up. And I say this, they're actually the two that are down here right now are a little being a little sedated because my eldest niece is playing The Isle, which is a dinosaur game. Apparently, it's kind of like a dinosaur survival game, from what little bit I've seen of it. And my other niece down here on her iPad is, what are you doing?
Flight Rising.
What is it?
Flight Rising.
Flight Rising. Is that your dragon game? Where they're apparently both, she and her sister, trade, raise, battle, do stuff with dragons in an online type game. So I've been seeing some of what they've been playing overall. But yeah, the Isle is a lot like Ark in a way from what I've seen it, although different.
Okay, is it like a kid's version of Ark?
No, actually the Isle is very much, like I said, it's dinosaurs, and you run around and have to eat others to stay alive and get water to drink. And don't know if you... Like, what I have watched of my eldest niece playing is she was playing as a velociraptor, and are you at the moment?
Yep.
Still is, and is running around the map, mostly not seeing a bunch of people that I had seen, but finding food and stuff. And, well, when I watched you, I didn't see it. And has been... What I saw was looking for other dinosaurs or something to kind of interact with. Said she plays it as a scavenger, looking for bigger ones to kill things, leave scraps for her to go eat then afterwards. But I hadn't seen any actual fighting from my end. So,
which I guess means she's being successful then.
Well, she says that it was much more action-packed a couple moments ago when I was not looking and such. But the thing I did get to watch them play a lot of earlier was Fortnite. And I was still trying to understand what they were doing with it. I think they were mostly playing the creative mode and flying around. Did you do some Battle Royale? They did some of the Battle Royale, because admittedly, my eldest niece, there's a gap in range between I'm trying to think the ages here because they're playing everywhere for 12 down to 7 at the younger range for ages that are playing. But it has been described, and I was also informed because we don't play Fortnite, is that my brother Earth was saying that even his team members at his school, all the younger ones are playing Fortnite, and so it's apparently as popular as people say.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I used to play a fair bit when not when it first came out, at the start of this year actually, and it was good. It was I enjoyed it. I was just bad at it. I felt it made me feel old because I wasn't as quick, 360 no scope as the other kids. So I just felt like a bit of an old man on it. And I think the problem is that it is played by a lot of kids, as you can see around you. It's played by a lot of kids who not only have fast reaction times, but have a different sense of community and than I might. So, yeah. I'll leave it at that.
Well, I continue to hear things about dance parties and having to show up and do something to, like, protect your dance spot or something like that. And so... A lot of things I don't know.
They add rules and stuff, and there's also certain tasks you need to do to unlock.
That I did hear a little bit about. They were trying to do various things to unlock other things. I don't know.
Yeah, so each day and each week there's new challenges to do, and these challenges unlock points, and these points go towards your rank for the season, and your rank for the season unlocks stuff overall, right? So basically it's a cumulative RPG. And... you want to unlock stuff like new dances or gear for your skins and different types of skins like backpacks or mining picks or whatever. And it's good fun. And some of the tasks you need to do some of them are really dumb, like dance in 6 different spots or whatever. But some of them are like
doing the dancing and stuff. Yeah,
and some of them are like dance with like 3 of the people in one room without killing each other. And that's a challenge that you kind of have to hope everybody wants to do, right?
Yep. Yeah, we're trying to dance together, no killing. We want to get the thing.
Yeah,
I understand.
So it is genuinely quite fun. It's just I don't know. Some of the tasks were really difficult. Like for example, get 5 sniper kills, and it's like getting 1 sniper kill is quite difficult in Fortnite.
Yeah, right.
So plus the game's not realistic, right? It takes quite a bit of time for a bullet to get somewhere. So that you can basically evade the bullets if you hear the shot, right?
Okay.
So if you're shooting with a sniper, you need to take in a fair bit of extra space for in case for where they're running, and then trying to estimate where they're running, which means that everybody's always jumping all the time, which makes it doubly difficult, right? You ain't got to worry about the X and Y axis, so it is quite tough. But Fortnite's a great game, and it's a good game for them to play. I just hope that they have the multiplayer audio turned off.
Yes.
To maintain their innocence.
That's one of the things. Especially that my nieces are playing. The worst thing I can imagine is them actually having to be in open chat with anyone in Fortnite. That would be awful.
Yep.
What do I mean? So, do you get into open voice chat in Fortnite? You do? And do you hear some very...
Yes.
I like how the response was just yes.
Do you hear?
I don't
yes,
even
I
have
do
to get
hear.
into details on what it is.
She knew. She knows.
Well, okay, so I'll put it this way to my nieces then in the room. When playing Fortnite, how old does it seem like most of the people who you play with are?
Young.
Older than you?
No.
Oh? There's
Some are young. They're mostly young, Kara.
So there's a slight disagreement in the room.
But youngish,
in
though,
ages,
right?
But
it's mostly young.
I would take that as saying that it's a wide range. But that's entertaining.
Well, that's the thing. I think the older people, like me and my buddies, when we play, we do it in a voice chat in a private party so that we don't have to talk to everybody else.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think
Myself included, it's like the last thing I want to do.
Yeah, I think it is mostly kids that are jumping in to do that. General chat stuff. I've done it a couple times. In fact, I tried to do a couple coordinated type matches where like I jump in a team of 4 with 3 randoms, and I go on voice chat and I'm like, all right guys, let's go to this area and land there together, and I'll set up a plan and stuff, and I'll be talking to them for like, I don't know, 30 seconds or so, and I'm like, so what do you think? And then in response I just hear like, Que español? or just like F you kid or something. And I'm just yeah,
well,
so screw that.
What was it? So for me, because I have my laptop, I had played a little bit of League of Legends, just kind of my own sanity kind of thing. Did get Fortnite running, but I haven't tried it yet on it. I had it running and was giving it to my niece just as I checked the phone, and you said stuff about the show that I was like, oh crud, and then had to reclaim it and say, nope, I have to get on air. But in doing so, like playing LoL, one of the things I ran into is just, ARAMs is all I play. But as I got in there, one of the matches I did, somebody, what did I get? I want to say Lux in one of the matches. And when I got Lux, it was like, oh, cool. I like playing Lux in ARAM. She's a ton of fun. This will be great. And then there was someone that like just kept pinging me to trade for Lux. And someone I didn't know, right? And I was like, but I want to play Lux. And whoever they tried to trade me first was someone like Shen or something where I was just like, God, no. Not someone I want to try. And then they rolled and tried trading me the next character. And I was like, I don't want to play that person either. And then they rolled again and tried trading me another person. And the worst part was in between each time when I declined it, they said something in the chat to it. And the first one was the effect of something like punk or something else. It wasn't cursing or anything, but each time calling me something for not accepting their trade.
Right.
And I was like, oh, wow. It's the try to understand the mentality of people that just because they want the opportunity to play someone and someone doesn't give them up, they think they're so entitled to feel
That's
like...
exactly what I was going to say, this super entitled mentality of people in online games. I don't get it. I don't know about you, but I've always approached it from the opposite end. I'm like, okay, what does our team need? Like, if I'm doing a 5-man in LoL, I'll be like, I'm going to go Phil, so that I'll go where people don't want to go, so they can enjoy themselves, and I'll enjoy whatever. I'm happy to do heals, I'm happy to do tank, I'm happy to do DPS, whatever. When we play WoW together, that's what I always do. I'd go the tank because we need a tank, and that's what I'll do, because I want everybody to enjoy themselves, right?
Well, and my only caveat that keeps me from choosing characters I'd play normally is trying to avoid characters that I know I am terrible with for that exact reason, because I don't want everyone else to have a bad experience because I'm bad. And the other one is that I'm trying to, if on the occasion, because in the ARAM it is random, and so you don't always catch characters you actually enjoy playing. So there's other times where if I catch a character that I really want to play, because like if I get Varus in ARAM right now, I ain't giving that up. Because Varus, I have a much higher success rate and win rate in ARAMs with Varus. I have been able to do really good with him lately.
Great.
And so I try to keep that. And it was just the mentality of like, give me, because it's what I want. And eventually they got a character that I was willing to trade for. I was like, all right, I just played them recently. It was like Nasus, I think. But I've been doing very well in ARAM with Nasus, so I will play him and let you take Lux. And as soon as he got Lux, he basically said, oh yeah, that's my whatever. And basically as though that's one of his favorite characters. And I kind of wanted to comment, it's like, really? I love playing her too. But I'm not the D-bag who is going to sit there and make a stink just so that I can play. I was like, Yeah,
but you see, you're also the kind of person. That would make me want to like be a total ass. That would make me want to go into the game and be like, who is this character, lol?
Right.
I hate her, and then just start shooting my ult off the side of the bridge repeatedly.
Go so far as like first time whatever, and
yeah.
Oh,
or like, I don't like this character, my AFK.
Oh. So yeah, no, but I played some LoL based on that, and honestly, it's funny. We were talking Fortnite. One of the stories I'd brought up for the week was just that I don't know if you'd seen in the news that was it Alfonso Ribeiro has sued Epic Games.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
use of the car dance in Fortnite.
Hey, power to him. He made that dance.
Well, so that's the interesting thing, and one of the things where I've seen there's some legal discussion about, because he's suing Epic about it. Because he definitely made it popular when he was on Fresh Prince.
Absolutely.
But part of the question comes out is, did he create the dance? And if so, like, does he actually own it? And I'll be curious to see what the what comes out of the court case for it.
I imagine it's not going to go to court. This is going to be a paid-off type thing. Like, we'll give you 100K. Like, Fortnite makes so much money, right? They don't give a crap. They'll be like, we'll give you, I don't know, $1 million, $500,000, and in exchange, you give us the rights to do this forever.
And that's one of the challenges is that likely, because if you look at the motivation, this could be something that you tie to, wants to get paid. Okay, that's fair. Bless you. But at the same time, it gets into that question with any of these kind of famous dances. Everybody knows them. People do them all the time. And therefore, are they actually copyright?
No, they're not copyright. But the problem is, they're copyright for corporate use, right? Like, and I think that's fair. If they made that dance for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air because that brought in fans for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's known as the Carlton, right? Because of the name of the character in the show.
Yep.
And so that's directly related to a specific brand, right? And then Fortnite goes and makes a bunch of money, and large part of that is due to the fun dances in the game. That is undoubtedly part of it.
Here's one of the questions with that. Is the actor who performed the dance the one who owns it, or is the owner of the show at which it was presented the ones who own the right to sue?
No idea. It depends if he made it or not, right? In his own time or what.
Well, and that's where I am not sure either.
Well, it depends. If he went to the big boss and said, hey, I know you were looking for a dance scene for episode 7 this season. I came up with this. This is my dance. We could use that if you'd like to. That would be Carlton's, or Alphonse, or whatever his name was, basically saying, I have created something, I will lease it to the show, but it is my dance. If that's the case, then that's fine. Or if the owner of Fresh Prince says, yep, it's Alfonso's dance, that's fine, then that's also fine, right? Because he's the one who might be in charge of the rights. It depends, and we'll see. And like I said, I don't think it's going to get to that stage anyway. I think this is just going to be a way for him to get a cash out, and in the end, I think it's probably going to give Fortnite a little bit extra viewership in the news and such, which they'll appreciate as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I don't think Fortnite needs any more.
No.
Advertising at this point? And it's weird because I'm so used to the battle royale games and the stuff like that being amongst my circle of friends and people that are a little older, so I'm still suffering the acknowledgement that it is really a game for kids. Or it is at least one that kids have ownership of. And the odd thing being, because it made more sense now, is when 2 of my nieces are playing on their laptops, and my other one took my phone, since I had it installed to play it, and they were all playing together in the same lobby.
Yep.
I got to give them some credit for that.
That's neat.
I was like, well, that's actually pretty well done.
That's the way it should
it's
be.
obviously be playable. And I've tried playing Fortnite on my phone, and I'm just like, I can't do it. It's like my eyes are not good enough or tuned enough to see the details in it on my phone, but I can see them on the computer.
No, I get you. I've tried PUBG on mobile, and I just could not do it. I was like, I'm not going to do this again. But Fortnite in July was reported to be worth $8 billion, and that was 5 months ago. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's gone up another 1 since then, right?
Well, and it's funny too because my younger brother just acquired and put it on his phone, and I don't know if he has his computer as well, but his phone. Because of this and the potential to play with our nieces. But it also reminded me one of the earlier stories, when we talked about $8 billion, is that he was looking for it and couldn't find it, so he accidentally installed PUBG because he's got an Android device. And it took him actually loading it and looking at the store again to say, like, why can't I find it? That I recalled that Epic isn't distributing Fortnite through the Google Play Store, but is doing it themselves. And that's because that way they can avoid the extra fees that the Google Store puts on them, the Android store and such, and so that they can keep all that money to themselves.
That makes sense.
But it was something where I took a minute and I had to point him actually say, no, whoa, that's right. You have to go to their website to get it. And he was a bit surprised by that as well. Hasn't stopped kids from finding it, that's for sure.
So, just to put that money into context, the entire economy of Zimbabwe is $16 billion, and Fortnite is worth $8 billion. So Fortnite is worth has as much monetary worth as a country with 5.6 million people labor force.
Woo!
That is insane. That just shows how well they're doing. That's incredible. Let me see how much Steam is worth now. Or how much Valve is worth. Valve.
Say, I figure probably still pretty good, but I'd be curious.
Well, Gabe Newell himself, the big boss of Valve, is worth $3 billion. So he's worth approximately less than half of what the entire franchise of Fortnite is worth. But the Valve Corporation in 2011 was set to be over $3 billion. That's obviously changed in recent years, but we don't know what that is past 7 years. But 7 years ago, they were worth a third of what this one game was worth.
Gee whiz.
I didn't know it was that bad, actually. I wonder, it must be worth more now.
Well, Valve, because it's a distribution company now more than anything, it has good value. You know, it's like the Amazons of the world and such. They just happen to also still build and create new IP, new games and such. Just not Half-Life 3, of course. And so I'm imagining it's worth quite a bit. Really am. So we'll see. But also, word of the wise for anyone who wants to play Fortnite on your mobile device, it is a power hog because, you know, I gave my phone over to my nieces, like, not even that early in the day as we were doing this, and they were begging to play. And when I got it back, I'm already at, like, low power mode, under 20% on my phone.
Oh, that's just because you have an iPhone. I'm sure if you had an Android, it'd be 99% and doing your dishes for you, so...
You assume much, sir. I've actually run into where my phone, the iPhone's actually been doing really good lately. But anyhow, no, it's good times. Also, yeah. So that was a thing of note for that. Other than that, though, I was going to say that just because I know we're going to run out of time here faster than anything since I was late. I have been playing one other thing on the road here.
Yep.
A new version of the classic puzzle game Lemmings has just been released. And is available on mobile.
Cool.
And I actually like it. Now, it's interesting because it does have a little bit of mobile flair to it, so it plays a slight difference from what I'm used to with like classic Lemmings games. But it's essentially just Lemmings. The challenge is, you only get so much energy per day or per however long.
Oh my god, look at those microtransactions. Oh my god.
I have not had to pay for anything yet.
That's not the point. I don't play games that have those kind of microtransactions anymore.
Well, the funny part is because the microtransactions are, to me, what I've seen there are the convenience things of I want to play more today, and therefore you have to buy more energy. And so for me, it's actually been fine. I went through a surprising amount of progression before ever getting to a point where I was running out of energy. And so it lasted far beyond my normal, toilet time gaming session that might be for mobile, to the point where I was actually playing it for a while sitting on the couch with family, as people were watching shows and such, and I never was for a need to put any money in. So I threw it out there just because it was interesting, and I've enjoyed it, and it has a little bit of that perfection aspect to it, in that, you only have to save so many lemmings each round, but you can try to save them all, and that is something that definitely nitpicks me. If I let one die or several die in something that was kind of I made a quick mistake, I will want to get them all next time. But the challenge is a lot of the levels, as long as you get enough success, will just force you to move on. And so you end up running into a new challenge each time. And so it's kind of bugged me a little bit because I want to perfect that last one. But at the same time, what's interesting is the worlds are built in such a way, unlike, for me, the original Lemmings games, I feel like there's a lot more flexibility in how you solve problems.
Okay.
And so I'm just throwing it out there. It's free. It does have a ton of opportunities to put money into it if you choose to. I have not felt the need, and so I don't know if anyone else would. But I've been enjoying it. It's not one that I think I'm going to just get rid of right away. I will probably hold on to it for a minute to play it some more. And so that's what I just wanted to throw out there, something I've been playing. So
neat, that's cool. Yeah, Lemmings sounds terrible. Because I I am very anti-transaction, microtransaction like that. I think it's terrible. I think they're milking an old game and putting a new face on it entirely just to use and abuse that system in place. I think if they just sold it for £1.49, $2 or whatever, they can make a bunch of money, make the monies back, and make a nice profit, and then not actually milk that sort of the human part of the brain that releases serotonin when we want to get the perfectionist match each time. And so I think it's immoral of them, and and greedy, and I dislike it, and I will not be getting that game. But I'm glad you're enjoying it though, regardless.
Oh, like I said, it's one of those. Whenever I see an old throwback to something like a game that I played on, 386 or older.
Yeah.
It's fun for me. And on mobile, I looked, I was like, oh, hey, because I do appreciate certain types of puzzle games, especially on mobile, where I'll less likely sit down at my computer and do it. But when I'm running around, just some of those is why I still play Words with Friends and stuff like that, is I kind of do it at my convenience here and there.
Yeah.
And so it's one that I'm enjoying so far. I will probably give a report forward if there's something that I've stuck with and find myself much further along. Like another one that was similar to that I haven't played it for a bit, but I had played it when I was on vacation and such, was called Happy Glass, which is a little physics-based one where you draw lines in a puzzle and the glass would have to be filled with liquid. And so you'd have to create channels for the liquid or a platform for the glass to fall onto and stay steady and things like that. And I found that I don't go to it a ton, but it's still there and I still go back to it. So that's probably the games on my mobile that I've played the most outside of Pokemon Go, because I still play Pokemon Go every day. Got to catch them all. So, yeah,
that's cool.
So,
do you want to talk a little bit about some of the games that are on sale just now?
We can. And well, when you say that, this could take up several shows because everything is on sale.
Well, let's mix up a little bit and let's not go straight into Steam, because I already talked a little bit about some of the Steam games on sale in the first half. So let's go into Battle.net first and see what's going on there. So I've got a bunch of emails.
They're all of the different platforms.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. Is I did install Battle.net on the laptop too, because I figured I could play WoW while on the road, and I jumped into it for a minute the other day. And I'm trying to think. And I refused, and I was afraid to go any further because I could have accidentally tried to install Call of Duty Battle or what?
Dangerous.
Yeah, Black Ops 4, and I was like, that's not gonna run. So I avoided that. But no, what's on sale right now on Battle.net?
So I'm going to go to the holiday sales section so I can see exactly what's going on there. So it's the holiday sale, which ends on January 7th, so you do have a bit of time here. World of Warcraft Battle for Azeroth is currently $20 off. That's not quite half price. I'd say it's like, 40% off, which is pretty
Something
good.
like that.
Which isn't half bad. I mean, the expansion isn't the best, but in the end, it's the current content, so you kind of have to get through it at some point if you want to keep playing the game. So,
see, I am curious about that too, though, because at some point we have to talk about how Battle of Azeroth is coming across, because I've heard mixed. But anyhow,
I'm not a fan.
I'll be surprised to see what else is on sale, because because for my mind, Blizzard doesn't have a whole lot to sell. So,
yeah, that's true. It's not the most. Overwatch is half price, from $40 down to $20. But admittedly, you would have gotten that for free a few months ago if you kept an eye on the ball.
if you pay attention to stuff, yeah.
There's a Hearthstone Winter Veil Wonder Bundle where you get 6 packs of every kind, which is just... I'm done with Hearthstone. I'm sick of the how much money it requires to be any good, and even then, it's not just about spending money, it's about also being able to just keep up with the current meta, which is the best deck, and that's that.
Well, and anything CCG is the ultimate, grab for money constantly.
Yeah, I just kind of bored with it. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is down to $39 from $60, so it's
nice.
$21 off.
Is that for the full game? Because they also have a mode of it now that is without zombies that's cheaper.
It just says Standard Edition, so I don't know what that means.
I think that's the normal full game.
Okay. Destiny 2 is down from $60 to $36. But again, it wasn't Overwatch that was free. It was Overwatch was in the Humble Bundle that you could have gotten for $10.
Gotcha.
It's Destiny 2 that was free a few weeks ago.
Yep. And so this is probably for the newer expansion on it, correct?
This is the Legendary Edition, so I imagine that includes other stuff, yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's actually pretty good.
Actually, yeah, this is also here. Black Ops 4 Battle Edition is $30, so I'm guessing that's the non-zombie mode.
Yeah, that'd be the one without zombie mode, where it just has the regular multiplayer and blackout.
Yeah. The BlizzCon 2018 virtual ticket, unsure why that exists still. I'm guessing it's for people who want to...
Well, I'm assuming it either they're too lazy to get off the store because it came with a couple of in-game type rewards.
That'll be it.
That's the only thing I can imagine, because I saw that actually almost right after BlizzCon finished that it still had the tickets for sale. I was like, what?
Maybe so you can access the streams as well. I don't know. You can also get... there's another section that just has great gift ideas, but there's nothing reduced there. It's just normal price stuff. So that annoys the piss out of me. There are some services you can get, in-game stuff. Oh, I know, actually, but Diablo 3 itself, Reaper of Souls, is down $10. So that's the expansion. Diablo 3 itself is only $10 as well. So you can pick up both for $20, which is pretty neat. The Rise of the Necromancer expansion, which it gives you the Necromancer class, which is kind of fun, I guess. $10 as well. So you can pretty much get, basically, if you want to get Diablo and everything is in Diablo 3, it's $30. Right, that's basically what it says. You can get StarCraft 2, both the campaign, just the campaign for $30, or the digital deluxe for $40.
I thought StarCraft 2 went free as well for the main game.
It did for a little while.
Okay. That's been when I acquired it.
There's a bunch of stuff inside World of Warcraft that's reduced in price. One of the main things I think is actually worth mentioning for those who are interested in this kind of thing, they have a bundle on right now. I'm trying to find it. I saw it the other day. It's called the Good... I'm going to try to look inside the game specifically rather than this help page. It was called the Goodbye Bundle or something like that. And basically the premise is that there's a bunch of stuff leaving the store because they've decided not to do the cosmetic items through the store, which is nice. But that means that the 3 that are currently there, there it is. It's called the See You Later Bundle. It's $50.
Yeah, the ones that are leaving?
Yeah. Now, it does have a fair bit of stuff, and if you think of it this way, it's actually a surprisingly good deal compared to what you're originally paying. However, it's still $50. That's a lot of money. And I'm just going to read what I can... I can't read it because it's not telling me exactly what's inside it. It's just... Oh, wait, there we go. Okay, I got it here. So there's 3 companions, which is Lil XT, Cenarian Hatchling, and the Moonkin Hatchling. There are 3 mounts, which is, I think, the bulk of where this money is coming from. There's the Grinning Reaver, the Armoured Bloodwing, and the Swift Windsteed. And there's 3 helms, which are entirely cosmetic. They're the Icy Crown of Eternal Winter, the Fiery Jewel of the Fire Lord, and the Demonic Hood of Hungering Darkness. So, yeah. If you're interested in that stuff, it's $50. That all seems really unimpressive to me. What is interesting is that the fact that it'll be disappearing soon. So if you're trying to be a master collector in the game, sadly you gotta kind of cough up here. And that's kind of the problem.
That's one of those decisions that makes you wonder a bit. Like, are you saying that's going to be the only way to get some of these, like, achievements or something that are out there?
Not the only way. I think it makes it easier though. Well, I think the point is if you want 100% of the game as much as you possibly can, you're not going to be able to do it if you don't buy this.
Yeah, see, that I'm not cool with.
Now, regardless of achievements, if you personally just want to try and do as much as you can in the game, that's what you got to do. All right, so that's all the stuff worth mentioning about Battle.net. There's a bunch of pets and stuff that are half price, but $10 to $5 is still a pretty terrible deal for an in-game pet. All right. Outside of Steam, there's another one that actually caught me off guard when I started looking at it because I was surprised with how much they were selling.
Sure. And that is Uplay. So Ubisoft is actually having some legitimately good sales on their store. Some of the bigger ones, in fact, the newer Assassin's Creed Odyssey for $30 from $60, so that's half price. Assassin's Creed Origins is down to, it's 70% off, I guess, $60 down to $20 for the standard version of that. Rainbow Six Siege, which is a great game, is down to $12 from $40. Ghost Recon Wildlands, the new one, is $17.50. If you still wanted to play Tom Clancy's The Division, it's down to $7.50. But some of the other bigger ones that are out there, like For Honor, is under $14. One of the bigger ones, the newer South Park, and both South Park games, but the old original one, Stick of Truth, is $7.50, while the newer one, The Fractured Butthole, is $15 right now. Watch Dogs 2 is $15. The whole Anno series is significantly reduced.
Good series.
And like every single one of those, all of the Assassin's Creed games are at least 60% off. It looks like beyond the ones initial. Black Flag which is arguably one of the better ones, is $8. Stuff like that. So I was surprised when I started going through there is that there are so many. One of the games that's really popular as a VR game right now, Star Trek Bridge Crew. Well, this is a standard edition one, but it's $20, half off. So there's quite a few games in there. The Rayman games, they're more than half off. Just going down their list. It was one that I kind of clicked in by accident because I was trying to play update Rainbow Six Siege and started seeing all the sales that were on there and was pretty impressed. So that's one if you like any Ubisoft games. Now, granted, you have to deal with Ubisoft, but they are having quite the sale.
Absolutely. There's a few things there that are quite interesting. I was just checking the Steam store. Some of the things are matched there. So, for example, Far Cry Primal is available on both stores for 60% off. So you can get it there in your place, wherever you prefer. Personally, I have it on Steam. But there are some games that are
although I've also seen Steam, it's kind of an interesting interaction between Ubisoft and Steam these days. Some games will still play native in Steam. Some will actually open up Uplay still and play it through there, but will at least link and purchase through Steam. It's an interesting connection.
That's weird.
So, yeah, there's a few like that.
I'm looking through my wish list just now on Steam, and I'm seeing so much reduced, and it's so tempting. Just some games I've added in there because I'm like, again, it's kind of like the, what I was saying about Elite Dangerous of, I'm not necessarily interested in the game, but I should try it because it seems important to try.
Well,
like Ziggurat, Soma, Castlevania, and Depth. Those are all very positive or overwhelmingly positive, but I don't really know anything about them, to be honest. But I've got them in there. They're all less than £5, so I've been tempted by all those. And I'm like,
well,
no.
Okay. So, one, because it's 2 more days, so wait. But I recommend to everyone, when Steam has their sales, especially the winter one, update your wish list, because you never know. One, it'll let you know something's on sale, which is dangerous. The other side is anyone who's a friend with you can easily go onto your libraries and see things that they might purchase for you for the holidays.
That's true.
And because this sale goes on to, I believe, the 2nd of January, there is no rush for you to buy them before Christmas. So I would at least allow for people to get through the Christmas season or the actual Christmas date before you go buy everything you ever wanted on your wish list for sale. But at the same time, it's an opportunity to maybe gift some things very easily to people in your friends groups, or especially our virtual friend groups that so many of us have, that you can get on there and perhaps send some stuff to people you like and
Absolutely.
have them get it for gifts. So do recommend that as well. Because I know that temptation. Holy cow. There have been some that, as continuing, that I see like Rocksmith whenever it has on sale, and I'm always like, it's half off, but I don't own a guitar or the adapter. So it's really...
Yeah, the adapter is the main thing. Like I said, guitars you can get cheap. That's not the hard part. It's the adapter that's hard.
You can find the adapter as well. It's just one of those things that it's another reason for me to take a breath and decide that maybe I don't need to buy everything that ever comes up on sale that I maybe want.
I think the things that is most tempting to me is probably Pillars of Eternity. I've been kind of wanting to play that recently, and it's currently it's 40% off right now. I don't know what it is. But again, I don't know what I'm saying. Actually, there's a bunch of things here I'd be really interested in playing. I really don't know. I really don't know what it was taking what I'm most interested in. But yeah, update your wish lists. There's so much stuff out there on sale just now. Far Cry Primal looks awesome as well. So I really enjoyed Far Cry 3. I've not played 4 yet, I think. But there's so many good games out there.
Far Cry 5 is on sale as well, and I think up to almost 50% off.
Oh yeah, it's 60% off actually.
Yeah, so I mean, there's so many. So if there's one that you absolutely have wanted, keep an eye on that. And like I said, wait till the day after Christmas and then buy it for yourself.
Yeah.
Copy does throw out there again. It's one that we've talked about in the past about the site isthereanydeal.com, where they basically aggregate and look through all of the various shops. In fact, some of them will show you where you can buy them at multiple locations to tell you what the best prices are today. And so there's opportunity to go check that out. Now, I don't know if that is all of the online shops or because most of the ones I'm seeing listed are retailers. But anyhow, at least I see Steam. Yeah, I see Steam in there. A couple other ones. So there might be other opportunities. So that's a good site to check out and definitely recommend. It is, like we said, 2 days till Christmas. And one of the beautiful things for those people that you might not have bought a physical gift for and are waiting for things to arrive in the mail or something like that, or maybe don't have time now, or maybe you live in Canada and therefore there's no way it was going to get there in the first place, on time, that digital options like games are always a good thing to go look at because you can get those instantly. Dun dun dun. So, highly recommended. All right. So I apologize again for everyone because I came in late, but we are now hitting the end of the show time. So I want to make sure to head back to you, Ken, about anything that you absolutely want to make sure everyone knows before we get going. And then, we will take off and people can enjoy their holidays.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'd like to hear Show X. We'd love to wish everybody a fantastic Christmas if you celebrate Christmas. I hate all that crap with all the religious thing, right? Enjoy the culture. Enjoy the cultural, or enjoy the religious, or enjoy both, or enjoy neither. Right? Hey, go get some good food, regardless. Enjoy
a couple hours off work. Enjoy extra hours at work if you're working it and you get paid more for it and put more in your pocket. If you're doing a happy, if you're celebrating Christmas, Festivus, Hanukkah. Something you make up that's just a way that you like we do with friends of us and stuff like that.
Whatever you're celebrating this winter season, happy Show Xmas.
Yes, there you go. Happy Show Xmas. I like it. Yeah, that actually works really well.
It does. Thank you very much.
We'll have to do that in the future, our official Show Xmas.
Yeah, I like that. That could be like a yearly thing. Okay, happy Show Xmas, everybody. Thank you so much for being on the show. You can support us all around the internet. You can find us on twitter.com/VTWShowX, twitter.com/.dead, twitter.com/GoX for the show, for Mr. Wayne and for myself. You can find us on Facebook, search for Show X there, and you can give us a like. We appreciate that. Find us on Reddit, reddit.com/r/showx. Join us for discussions in there. There's every single time we post a show on YouTube, there is automatically posted from my own account onto that subreddit. So you can go and talk about this specific show. If you want to get specific links or whatever, you can ask for them in there, and I'll get a notification, and so will anybody else who joins in the thread. So go do that. ShowX underneath is the subreddit on reddit.com. You can also support us on patreon.com/VTWShowX. And you can send in emails to showx@vtwproductions.com. All very much appreciated. Your time is appreciated. Your donations are appreciated. And if you can't do either of these, then your shares are also appreciated. Do tell your friends. Share on Twitter, share on Facebook and such is much appreciated. Thank you for being on the show, Mr. Wayne. Thank you for calling in all the way from your home with your family. That's much appreciated. And I hope you have a fantastic Show Xmas. I hope everybody else does too. We've only got 2 days to go. Next week we'll be back to full strength again, I believe. Nothing.
Should be. Yep. Yeah, because it's just before the new year, and so we should all be here.
This will be my last show for it'll be both our last show for the year. It's everybody's last show for the year. Then I'll be taking a week off while I'll be in Vegas, and then I'll be back the week after that. All right.
Yep. At which point I will be the week after that one. I will be gone because I will be in Barbados, I believe, and so as well as I believe the week after that. So we'll see. Maybe 1 week where we're not here because of us both traveling, and then a week that might be Ken only, where you might get to see the rest of his expert analysis of Factorio and showing what he's been building. See that. But with that, if I can on my end, ladies, would you like to help me by saying goodbye to everybody?
Yeah.
And so can you say at the count of 3, like, how do we normally say it? Have a good zombie?
Yeah.
So at the count of 3, can we say have a great zombie? Okay? 1, 2, 3. Have a great zombie.